Dude, I'm about to blow your mind. I am about to blow your mind. Did you know that right here, right now, this very moment is the oldest you've ever been? Right now. Huh. What about now? Well, now is. But what about now? This very moment. Huh. But what if the numbers we use to count age is a flawed, oversimplified, time-based system that does not accurately correlate with our age at the cellular and metabolic level? And thus, one can be biologically younger right now than they were 10 seconds ago, 10 months ago, 10 years ago. Oh my God. I've got to go alert the Facebook moms. Better go tell them. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftingbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we have some new research on the docket, highlighting how we may be able to slow down or even reverse biological age, making us potentially younger on the inside as we grow older on the chronological number-based system that seems to get less and less useful each and every year. That's right, production team, your birthday doesn't matter anymore. No, it was a joke. Stop crying, please. Remember the rules? Rule number 1, no crying. Rule number 2, revert back to rule number 1. All this, might I add, without breaking the bank. And being a channel that focuses on longevity, or how to push those healthy years of life as far out as humanly possible, this is appealing and something we gotta talk about. So let's dive into this new human research and talk about what it potentially means for us normal people who just have normal people stuff and are doing it on a budget. But before we get started, if you need a nice refresher on the difference between chronological and biological age, pause this video and watch this for a good in-depth overview. If not, let's take a dip into the virtual fountain of youth. First, a quick word on biological age. We all know chronological age. It's that number that goes up every 365 days from the day we're born to the day we die. And this happens to be the primary way society tracks age. My God, why? The thing is, it's flawed. Like, kinda really flawed, because it doesn't accurately track what really matters, our health. Enter biological age. Scientists have and are continuing to identify a number of biomarkers, or biological parameters of an organism that better predict functional capabilities and age when compared to our chronological number. This is known as our biological age. Basically, biomarkers are collected and run through an artificial intelligence algorithm that spits out your cellular and metabolic age on the inside. Now, it's important to remember this practice is still in its infancy, and tests are just starting to become more widely available, which is cool. And one of the most advanced and accurate ways to date to track biological age is a test that assesses something called DNA methylation, which may sound scary and complicated. And it is a little bit, but at a high level, it is the addition or subtraction of something called a methyl group at selective areas on our chromosome, which are those things in each and every cell that house our genetic code. And to keep it simple, think of methyl groups as on-off switches that determine how our DNA is expressed. For example, we want the methylation of a liver cell to stay a liver cell throughout the entire life of that cell. We don't want it changing and acting more like a lung cell, or an ear cell, or well, you get the idea. One theory of aging is called the information theory of aging, proposed by aging guru, Dr. David Sinclair. And I understand I just said aging a lot in that last sentence to, just add some flair, aging. All right, we're gonna end that there. This theory argues that our cells lose their identity over time. And this loss of identity eventually leads to disease onset and our eventual demise. And you may be asking, how exactly does a cell lose its identity? By changes in its expression, by an altered DNA methylation. See why this may be important? I bring all this up because methylation constitutes the best studied and likely most resilient of many mechanisms that control gene expression. And this research, which we're about to review, that measures biological age in 43 healthy male adults, uses a methylation-based clock to tell biological age, a clock known as Horvath's clock. This was created by UCLA aging researcher Steve Horvath and has become pretty world-renowned, proving to predict all-cause mortality and multiple morbidities better than chronological age. So, now that you're up to speed on this magical clock, let's get into the research. The study. This was a randomized control clinical trial among 43 healthy male adults between the age of 50 and 72. It consisted of an 8-week treatment program, which included diet, sleep, exercise, and relaxation guidance, along with supplemental probiotics and phytonutrients. Of the 43 participants, about half followed the intervention protocol, while the other half acted as a control and just went about living their everyday life. Now, before we get to the results, let's dive a little deeper into what exactly these lifestyle interventions consisted of, and see if there's anything the average Joes and Janes like me and you can do. The lifestyle factors. First, diet. The dietary intervention used here was plant-centered, including a high intake of nutrients that are substrates or cofactors in methylation biosynthetic pathways, or in layman's term, essentially foods that support proper methylation. Overall, it was a slightly carbohydrate-restricted protocol that placed a primary focus on real whole foods. Who would have thunk? It included a hearty daily dose of cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens, lean organ meats like liver, daily servings of eggs, nuts, and seeds, low glycemic fruit, as well as methylation adaptogens like wild berries, rosemary, turmeric, garlic cloves, and green tea. Essentially, all of this was some high-quality grub. Organic, grass-fed, free-range, yada, yada, yada. Also, there was an emphasis on meal timing, as all meals were consumed between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Structuring the meal timing into very doable 12-hour time-restricted feeding windows, while giving the body proper time to digest before bed to optimize that oh-so-important sleep quality, which I know, you know, is important. Remember? There were also a few supplements involved, with participants in the intervention group consuming a daily vegetable and fruit powder and a probiotic containing 40 million CFU of a lactobacillus strain. And I don't know about you guys, but nothing extravagant or groundbreaking here. Just eating real good, nourishing foods in a strategic feeding window. What about exercise? This guidance included a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise per day, at least 5 days a week, and at an intensity of 60 to 80% perceived exertion. This right here is pretty much in accordance with the general recommendations you hear across the board with exercise. How about stress or stress management? Which again, I know you know is important after our little powwow the other week. For this, participants were instructed to partake in a preventive stress management routine, which included breathing exercises twice a day, channeling their inner zen with the goal of eliciting a relaxation response and activation of that rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system, that state we want to be in for pretty much the majority of our day. Lastly, we got sleep. This is oh so often overlooked, but not in this study, which set recommended guidelines for at least 7 hours per night. And as we know from all of the videos on the How to Sleep playlist, sleep is the foundation of all things health. And guess what? That goes for its impact on DNA methylation status as well, with one study in 2,000 plus women showing that insomnia accelerated their epigenetic clock. Yeah. So quick recap. 8 weeks, real food, intermittent fasting, exercise, quality sleep, and stress management. Anyone know a place where they talk about all this stuff? So what happened? Well, first off, the diet and lifestyle intervention was associated with a 3.23 year decrease in biological age when compared to the controls, with those in the treatment group decreasing their biological age by an average of 1.96 years when compared to their status before the 8-week intervention. Blood biomarkers stayed rather consistent throughout the short duration study, with the most significant changes being a 25% decrease in mean triglycerides. Interesting. But what exactly was driving these changes? Here's what researchers saw when they looked at specific changes at the methylation sites on the chromosomes. In both the control and intervention group, there was actually no increase or decrease in methylation of the 353 sites that compose Horvath's clock. This finding suggests that the intervention did not lead to an overall increase in methylation, but it rather prompted a repositioning of the clock's methylation patterns consistent with a younger biological age. Very interesting. Now, let's keep in mind, this was a very short intervention in terms of human lifespan. But nonetheless, the results are promising. And I, for one, am excited about all the future long-term, wider-ranging studies that are going to give us deeper insights into this age reversal superpower that we all may possess. Speaking of superpowers, what do you have the power to do today? Don't wait. As I alluded to several times throughout this video, all of these interventions are achievable and affordable to the average me and you. In my opinion, this type of data is quite encouraging and empowering. Many times we tend to overcomplicate things when it comes to improving our health, looking for the quick and simple way to achieve maximum results with minimal effort. But the facts of the matter are, there is no magic pill. There is no "that was easy" button. But that does not mean that the tools that you need to feel good, refreshed, rejuvenated, and operating efficiently each and every day aren't at your disposal. It just means that it takes a little work and strategy, like everything else worthwhile in this world. And this randomized control human study just provided evidence that you could potentially reverse your biological age by simply performing healthy lifestyle habits, the majority of which are free 99. So the only question left is, what's it gonna be? As always, let me know what comments, questions, any random thoughts you have down below. If you'll excuse me, it's been a long day. I'm kind of feeling a little old right now. I think I'm gonna, go turn on some methylation and take a nap. Catch you next week.